Keystone, bully breed dog owners keep their dogs after all. I'm Bailey Chihan, the Gazette social video producer. If you've been following our coverage on the fight over Keystone's dog breed ban ordinance, you know that in June, a dog bite was the catalyst for the city of Keystone to enforce their dog breed ban ordinance. That ordinance bans dogs that are pit bulls, pit bull mixes, and have features of pit bulls. Labor Day weekend written notices went out to 4 dog owners. Those notices required the removal of dogs from the property, or the owners would face a fine and forced removal of the dogs. There was an opportunity to appeal, and 3 dog owners appealed. The city of Keystone worked with dog owners to provide personalized solutions to allow owners to keep their dogs. One of those owners was Mackenzie Brecht. The Gazette met Brecht earlier in the summer when verbal warnings were given to dog owners, reminding them of Keystone's dog breed ban ordinance. In all, Brecht's emotional support dogs were allowed to stay in Keystone so long as improvements were made to Brecht's backyard fence. The dogs must be muzzled outside of their home.
A lot of people have asked, these accommodations were only specifically made for me. They cannot go and tell everybody in Keystone with an ESA that, oh, you have to do this now if you have that kind of dog. They would have to specifically give them an official notice, and then they would have to do exactly what I did. They would have to appeal it. They'd have to go talk to city council, get their own accommodations, unless they decided to put that in the ordinance. That's the only way they could make everybody else do that. As far as the 2 other families that appealed, their cases, I guess, for lack of better words, got extended so they could either have a vet signed paperwork saying their dogs weren't pit bulls, a DNA test saying they weren't pit bulls, or they could also go the route that I did.
Brecht said she's doing what she can to keep the cost down on these improvements to her backyard, but it's going to cost over $1,000.
And that's just kind of what I keep telling myself, that this isn't necessarily to keep my dogs from being dogs. It's at this point to keep them safe because I don't trust them alone in my backyard. I know that some people in this community may not feel safe knowing that my pit bulls are here, but I don't feel that my dogs are safe just because I fought for them.
When it comes to community safety, cities have to look at whether it's the dog breed and genetics that lead to aggressive behavior or if it's individual situations. Here's what Benton County Sheriff Ron Tippett had to say.
If you look at the insurance industry, they have a very large list of animals that they call high risk. And there are many, many more breeds on the insurance side than what the county's ordinance or any of the city's ordinances have.
But the question remains, do dog breed ban ordinances lead to safer communities? Keystone is one of the few areas in Iowa that has a dog breed ban ordinance. This map marks areas with bans in red. Blue markers show areas with breed neutral policies. Iowa Humane Society Director Preston Moore has worked with communities to rewrite breed ban ordinances to better protect humans and animals. Moore said that Keystone's ban was vague. It bans pit bulls and dogs with pit bull-like features. He said even veterinarians can have difficulty identifying the dog breed.
So it can just be incredibly subjective. And even if it is enforced, it can be incredibly subjective. Like you mentioned, there are a lot of communities that have these sorts of ordinances and they don't really enforce them until XYZ happens. And it could be a dog incident, or it could just be, a neighbor deciding that they don't like living next door to a big dog at some point.
Moore said that dog bites happen in communities with and without breed bans, and it's common to find banned dogs living in communities with dog breed ban ordinances.
Typically, as a response to something that has either happened in that community or a high profile event that happens nationally, just kind of as a reactionary proposal, it's a breed ban or a breed restriction is brought up. And it's sometimes viewed by city leaders as the easiest way to sort of solve the problem.
With all the dogs that still get out in town, even if mine are locked up, it could still happen because there's constantly dogs running through this town. And I mean, it's just ridiculous that we're getting in trouble for just having dogs who didn't get out, didn't bite anybody, didn't bark at anybody.
Brecht says there's more pit bull mixes in the city than those that were served written notices.
the day after the city council meeting, I helped a girl here in town who has pit bull mixes round up all 4 of her dogs and get them home. And she never got official notices. She never got the first notice, and her dogs are out every other day that we're having to catch them. And they're not mean or anything. It's just the law clearly isn't evenly being enforced.
The dogs that received notices did not have any formal complaints against them for aggressive behavior. The Gazette reached out to the city of Keystone numerous times over the course of reporting this story and did not receive a response. For the Gazette, I'm Bailey Chihan. Thank you.